Hi, I'm Chris Fortune, and today I'll be walking you through a study group and its release candidate build. This week we worked on reworking the form feature as well as having the ability to, when creating a study group, it is added to your calendar, and if you join a study group, it will be added to the calendar. So let's go ahead real quick and start off by creating an account to show you that a user is able to create an account. So let's go ahead and choose a profile picture here. We will go ahead and we will use a picture of, let's go ahead and use this. We'll just crop this here. Okay. Let's go ahead and put in some information here. I'm going to use my father's information just to prevent any somewhat similar information from my account. So let's go ahead and enter in a username, Fortune. Actually, let's go ahead and put an H there. Let's go ahead and enter in an email here. 69@gmail.com. Let's enter in a password of 23456. 23456. Okay, so after the user's filled out all the information and selected a profile picture for their account, they have the ability to go ahead and create an account. We have reworked how if a user, say, doesn't fill out information and they try to create an account, if they try to create an account, it will say, hey, you didn't fill out your first name here. Can you go ahead and fill that out for us? So let's go ahead and refill that out for us so we can create an account. So let's go ahead and create. A progress bar is displayed letting the user know that their account is being created. The image is being uploaded to the database as well as their account information. So as you can see, after creating an account, the user is logged into the application and taken to the public flashcard screen. Let me go ahead real quickly and log out of this account, and let me log into my account that I have set up. Okay, so as you can see, after a user has either created an account or logged in, they will be taken to the public flashcard screen. From here, the user has the ability to select from a drop-down list here for the set topics or subjects that public flashcards have been created in. So let's go ahead and go to computer science. In computer science, I have already created a public flashcard test here. As you can see, here it's displaying the test name, the amount of questions, and the creator of the test. So if we go ahead and we click on it, it allows us to take the test. So if we want to take the test, we can. If we don't, we press cancel. Let's go ahead and take this test. So as you can see, once the user starts taking the test, it displays the question number as well as a timer starts, and then here's displaying the question. So let's go ahead and answer all of these, but let's give them with a correct answer here. So we'll check that. As you can see, it determined that it was correct. Let's go ahead and press next. Let's go ahead and give it the correct answer again. We'll check it. It's been correct. Let's go to the next question and let's fill in the correct question here and let's check. As you can see, the question is determined correct. So let's go ahead and press next. After taking a public flashcard test or a flashcard test in general, the user is displayed a two charts here at the top. This chart is displaying the correct versus wrong count. There's a render bug that is unfixable due to just some library issues. But this is displaying the correct count of the flashcard test, and down here is displaying the amount of answered versus skipped. So as you can see, we answered all three questions. Down here at the bottom, it's calculating your overall percentage score. So as you can see, we were able to get 100% on that test. And down here, it also displays the flashcards that you got right and the flashcards that you got wrong. So we got question 1, 2, and 3 correct. Now if we were to say get question 2 wrong, it would display question 2 here. So if we go over here and then we press the check mark, this will take the user to the leaderboard for that flashcard test. So say there was another user that takes this test, they will see this leaderboard, and it displays the users that have taken this flashcard test correctly and the time that it took them to complete it. In order for a user to obtain a position on the leaderboard, they are required to get 100% on the test. When they press done here, it takes them back to the flashcard test. For showing you that another user taking that test would show up on that leaderboard, let's go ahead and log back into this account that I created. 56. We'll log in here. We'll go down here. We'll do computer science. As you can see, the public flashcard test is showing up even though I'm on a different account. So we'll go ahead and click on it, and we'll say take test. From here, again, it's displaying the timer, the question, check, answer, skip question. So let's go ahead and answer all these correctly real quick. We'll check that. As you can see, it determined that it was correct. We can go to the next question. We will say A2, check, answer, next, and we'll say A2. Or whoops, A3. Correct. So again, when a user is taking a flashcard test, it will display to them the correct, if it'll say correct if they answered the question correctly, and then it would say wrong if the user entered in a wrong answer, and then it would display the correct answer. So if they were wanting to know what that answer was, if they entered it wrong, they would immediately see the correct answer. So let's go ahead and press next. Again, it displays the correct versus wrong, the answered versus skipped, the overall percentage score, and the questions right, and then the questions wrong. We'll go ahead and do that. And as you can see, the account that we just logged in to and created and took the test with is now being displayed on the leaderboard since we have taken that test and we got 100 on it. Now say if we didn't perform 100% on the test and we missed a question, the time that it took to complete this would not be added to the leaderboard or would not be updated. So again, you need to score 100% to obtain a position on the leaderboard. So let's go ahead and go back, and let me log back out of this account really quick. We'll log back into my accounts, and we'll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll log back in. Okay, so after the user is done doing that and they want to continue using the app, we have these other features. So from here we have a study group map, study group topic of the day, forums, public flashcards, which we just went over, flashcards, and then log out. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button there. For study group map, when the user taps on this, they are taken to a map of study groups that are near them. By default, the search range on study groups is set to 25 miles, but they also have the ability to increase that search range. So if there was, say, a study group over here in Martinsburg or in Hagerstown, and we increase that search range, that study group would be added. So if a user wants to view a study group, they can click on this icon here, this little map marker, and then this will display an information window. And at the top, the the study group name is displayed first, and then below that, the address of the study group is displayed. If a user wants to view more information about that, they can by tapping on this information window. On tapping on it, it's displaying here a more closer up view of the location of the study group in a map view, as well as displaying the address, the subject, the max attendee count, as well as the date, the time, and the creator of the study group, as well as the attendees that are currently attending the study group. So as you can see, my account is currently attendee because I have created it, as well as the test account that we have to show that another person is able to see this study group and then join it if they choose to do so. There is now conditional checking here at the study group. So since I am a creator and I'm already joined in it, clicking on this will display an alert saying, hey, you're already in this study group. Can't rejoin something that you're already part of. And this will prevent duplications in the attendees list. Moving out of this study group map, well, let's go back really quickly and let me log out and log in here to that account that I created. I know there's a lot of logging in and out, but it's just to show you that other users are able to see this information and or join it, no matter if you're on different accounts. So that's the importance of it. So going back to study group map, we can create a study group here by clicking on this plus icon. From here, the user is prompted to enter in or fill out this information to create a study group. If all this information is not filled out, they will have to either back out if they don't want to create it or fill out everything to create that study group. So let's go ahead and enter in a study group name here. We will call this iOS development under the mobile development subject. We'll give this an address here of 180 Big Timber Drive with a city of Cross Junction with a state of VA. Down here at the date, the user can't just type in the date. They have to use this button here to pick their date. So let's go ahead and pick June 1st for this study group. Say OK. Down here at the time as well, the user cannot just enter in a time. They have to use the button here to pick the time. And we'll say the study group will be at 5 p.m. And we'll say OK. As you can see, the date that we picked as well as the time that we have picked are now being displayed here. And then down here, this slider allows the user to determine the amount of max attendees that they want to attend this study group. So we'll just go ahead and crank that to 25. And then we'll save this. Whoops. And we'll save that. Upon saving that study group, the user is greeted with the study group screen. So here in the navigation, we're currently in this part of the application. So if we were to go back to the study group map and we were to zoom out here, you can see the study group that we've just created is now being displayed on the map. If we were to click on it, you can see more details about it, and you can see the attendees, the creator, the date, time, subject, address, etc. And if we were to click on it, say you're already in it, so you can join it again. So let's go ahead and we'll log out of this account, log back into my account. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops. Had a typo there. Okay, so if we go back here to the study group map on my account, since we are already part of this study group, if we were, say, to want to join this study group now, we can do so. Whoops. We're on the wrong one there. Okay, so here, this is the one that we just created on the other account. So if we were to click onto this, you can see the attendees, the subject, the address, the creator, date, time. If we wanted to join this, it says, hey, you're already in a study group. Do you want to leave the one that you're in and then join this one? If you do, you can do so. So we're not going to do that, but if you want, you can join study group and it will allow you to leave. Let's just go ahead and do it. So as you can see, we are now part of this study group. So in here, if we click on this, this is the part of the application that we're in. We're in the study group, and we are now part of the iOS development study group here. For this study group, we have no flashcard test created. So let's go ahead and create a flashcard test. We will enter in the test name. Let's go ahead and, since we're in iOS, we'll just call this iOS 101, and we'll just set a flashcard count of 3. And we'll go ahead and continue. As you can see, because my account is currently set to a premium account, this flashcard count is maxed out to allow 50 flashcards to be created. If a user is not under a premium account, they can only create up to 25 flashcards to a flashcard test. So keep that in mind. So we'll go ahead and press continue here. So now this is taking us to the study group test that we have just created, and this is where the questions are being displayed. But since we have not created any questions, we need to create some questions. So in order to do so, you go up here and press the plus icon, and this will take you to the test questions edit, where you're able to enter in questions and save them. So let's go ahead real quickly, and we will enter in Q1, and we'll say A1. Now, if there's some changes to this that we need to do, you can quickly wipe both of these fields here by just pressing this trash can icon, and that will delete that question. And there's currently a bug where it's taking you back to another activity, but that will be fixed. But going back in, if we go back to the test, if we long press on it and you say OK, that will allow you to go into the test questions again. So as you can see, that question that we entered, it's not there because we deleted it. So if we go back and we go ahead and we finish filling this out with all the questions and answers, we'll go to next question. Now if the user wants to go back to the previous question they have already entered, they can do so. So let's go ahead and go to the next question here. We'll say Q2, and we'll say A2. Next question, we'll say Q3, and then A3. Now because we have set our question count to 3, pressing next question will not take you to question 4 because we set our max questions to 3. So let's go ahead and go back to our questions list here. And now as you can see, the questions that we've created are now being displayed. Clicking on one would take the user in here so where they can edit just that single question. So if we were to change that Q1 to Q10 and save that, that edit is now being saved. So let's go ahead and go back to the study group so we can take the test that we've just created. Clicking on the test allows you to take the test. So we want to take the test, so let's go ahead and say OK. Now, as you can see, the timer is being displayed. That edit that we made to that question is still saved, and it's displaying the question number. So let's go ahead and let's enter in these questions, or the answers here. It says correct. Here, let's go ahead and just enter in a wrong answer to show you that it can determine if the user is entering in a wrong answer. So it determined that we entered in a wrong answer, and then it will display the correct answer. Notice the user is not able to just go back to the question that they just entered and resubmit that correct answer to make their score better. They have to just continue with the test, so the next time they take it, they can think about the wrong answers that they got. So let's go ahead and press next, and let's go ahead and enter in this question. Actually, let's go ahead real quick and skip this. Okay, so as you can see, after taking the test, the user is taken to the results page. From here, it is displaying the correct versus wrong chart. So this displays the amount of questions versus the questions that they got wrong. Again, there's a render bug here, so it's not displaying the numbers. That's due to a library issue with the charts that I'm using here. Down here, it's displaying the answered versus skipped, so we answered 2 of those questions. Whoops. That is not what we wanted to do. Let me go ahead real quickly and fill in these again, and we'll check these, enter in the same results here, and then we will skip this question because we skipped it. Okay, back at it. working with the mouse on Android is a little different. Okay, so as you can see again, the answered and the skipped is now being displayed to the user. So it displays that we skipped the one question and we answered two questions. As you can see down here, it's displaying the percentage score that we got overall in the test. Down here, this is displaying that we got the first question right and we got the second and third question wrong. We got the second question wrong because we entered the wrong answer, and we got question number 3 wrong because we skipped it. You can't just get the correct answer on a question that you skipped. So that shows you that skipping answer correctly and answered wrong, how the system is determining it correctly, which it is. After they've completed and they're done viewing these results, they have the ability to go ahead and view the leaderboard for this. There's currently an issue with the study group leaderboard, but that will be fixed very shortly. But from there, they're able to go back to the study group test and view their study group. Now, say if I wanted to leave this study group, I can choose to do so by clicking here and determining that I would like to leave this study group. And we are now no longer part of that study group. Okay, so moving on. Down here, the topic of the day, click on here. This will display a topic of the day that changes every 24 hours for users to just discuss a different topic for each day. It might not be something that they're learning, but it could be something that they might want to learn and that they're interested in, and just partake with some conversation with other users about the topic. So if the user wants to partake in this, they can by pressing join the discussion. And then from here, they're displayed the forum message room where they can then enter in the messages that they want to send to other users. So from here, if we wanted to enter in a message and send it to another user, we could do so by, let's say, hello world, famous beginner programmer line, and we'll send that. As you can see, it is sent the message to that forum room for other users to see. If the user would like to edit that message, they can do so by long pressing on the message. From here, there's a drop-down menu where they can either edit or delete that message. Let's go ahead and edit the message really quick, and we'll just go ahead and add edit to the end of this, and we will press save. As you can see, the changes that we made to the message, they are saved. If we would like to delete this message, we long press again, and we just tap on delete message. Here it will say, are you sure you want to delete the message? If you don't, you press cancel. If you want to delete it, you press delete. Let's go ahead and delete this message. As you can see, the message is deleted, and it is now no longer displayed in this topic of the day. If we were to really quickly, enter in the same message again, and we go and we log out, and we log back into the account that I have created. We log in, and now that message that I just typed in, the keyboard combination that I did, it didn't actually send the message, but that top message that you saw, the user still should see that message. So if we go in here, yeah, you can see that message is being displayed. Even though that I'm on a different account and someone else sent this message, it is still being displayed to the user. Real quickly, another thing that I would like to mention, down here you're seeing a AdMob. The reason why you're not seeing it on my account is because I've set my account to premium, which removes ads and also allows you to create 50 flashcard tests per subject, as well as 50 questions to a flashcard test, and again also removes these ads. So if in this account I were to go into the user profile and I were to go premium, this is being blacked out because it is displaying my personal credit card information, and I would not like to give that away, but it is displaying a window for a user to pay for the premium fee. Once they press continue, it processes that charge, and then if we were to go here to the study group screen, you can see there's no ad here at the bottom. If we went to public flashcards, there's no ad here. And that's because the account is now premium, which means they don't have to deal with ads, more flashcards, and flashcard tests that they can create, and more questions to a test that they can create. So that's the benefit of going premium. And again, those ads that you saw, it was displaying a size and not like an actual ad, and that's due to, since this application is not actually published on the Google Play Store yet, I cannot display like actual ads to earn income because that's against AdMob rules, and that would get my account suspended. So that's why it's displaying just a size ad instead of like an actual ad. So that way I can keep my AdMob account, so when this application is published, the ads will be able to work, and and you can make revenue off of it. So let's go ahead and log back into my account. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you this form rework here. So for organizational purposes, we decided to keep the subjects, but from there has been a change. So if we were to go here into, let's just say we'll click on business studies, as you can see, there's nothing here. That's because we have not created a channel. If we were to say go into computer science, you can see that there are two channels here that have been created by two different accounts. This is the account that we're currently on, and this is a different account that I had created earlier. There has now been a search implementation added to the forum channel. So from here, if we wanted to search for channels, we could type in iOS and it would filter out that iOS channel. From here, if we close that down, from here, a user is able to, create a forum channel. So this is a forum channel that has been created by another user. So if we go ahead and we press this button, this will display a prompt to allow the user to enter a channel name for the subject that they're in. So since we're in computer science, we'll just go ahead and we'll call this mobile development. Really quickly, let me copy this. If we were to try and like create a channel without entering anything in here, they cannot do so. You have got to fill out this information to create a forum channel. You can't just create a forum channel that doesn't have a name. You've got to give it a name to create a forum channel. So let's go ahead and we'll fill this back out here. So say mobile development, and we'll press create. Okay, so we are now in the forum channel room where they can send messages, where users can send messages to other users that are currently like viewing this forum. So if we were to go back to the forum screen really quickly, go into computer science, you can see the forum channel that we've just created is now being displayed here in the forum channels under the computer science topic. So if we click on it, again, it's going to take us into that forum channel room. From here, the user is able again to send messages to other users in this channel that they have now created. If you go and press send, it'll send. If you want to edit, you long press, it'll display a pop-up menu. From here, you can press edit and just type in your changes to your message. You can save it. It saves the changes to the message that you just made the edit to. If you would like to send another message, you can send that. And if you don't want to like have a message, you can just go ahead and just delete that that message. So if you just press delete, are you sure you want to delete your message? Press delete, so you can go ahead and do so. So as you can see, that message that is there is now gone. So if we go back out into public flashcards, we have already gone over. That's where the user can view other flashcards flashcard tests that other people have created and take them. And then down here at flashcards, this has been reworked very slightly. So if we were to go into computer science, you can see that Java 101 test that is a public flashcard test is also being displayed in here because I'm the creator of that test. So if we were to say take this test, you could do so. Really quickly, let me just show you. Because that this test is a public flashcard test, even though we're taking it from our flashcard test section, it's gonna still display that leaderboard if we answer all these questions correctly. So if we go in here, say next question, say A3, check it, correct. Next question, again, it's displaying the results, the correct questions, the percentage score, any questions that you got wrong, and you go in, it'll update your leaderboard entry. Since before we were at 40 some seconds, we're now at 25 seconds from that test that we just took. So as you can see, because this is a public flashcard test, the user is still going to be entered into the leaderboard, even though they're the creator and they're taking it from their private flashcard test section. So that's just another way if the user wants to take a flashcard test that they've created and it's still public, they can still do so. So pressing this will send the user back to the flashcard test subject list. From there they can either continue taking the same test or do whatever they would like to do from there. From here, if we go ahead and we press add and we just go ahead and enter in a test name, we'll say Android Basics. We'll give it a flashcard count of 3. Okay, so now from the previous build, you should be saying, well, there's something missing here, and you'd be correct. There used to be a drop-down bar here, a drop-down menu, where you would choose the subject for your test that you're creating to be in. Since you're already creating a test under computer science, it seemed redundant to the testing users to fill out that field again, so that's been removed and it's automatically saved for you under the subject that you're creating the test in. For testing purposes, let me go ahead and make this public so you can see that when we create this test, it would be a public test. Now the user, after creating the test, is taken to the test questions list, whereas before it would take them just back to the subject list. That was just a navigational error in that aspect. But from here, since there are no questions here, we can go ahead and create these questions for the user to take. So let's go ahead and fill these out with our typical Q1A1s. And then we'll say next. And again, if the user would like to go back to the questions that they have already created in the past, they can do so. So let's go ahead and continue, finish making this test. Say Q2, we'll say A2, next question. Let's say Q3, A3, next question. As you can see, nothing's happening. Why is that? Well, that's because we set our flashcard test questions to be a maximum of 3. Can't go past it. So we're locked at 3 questions. So if we go back and view our questions list, you can see the questions that we have just created. They are now being displayed here in the questions list. If you just go ahead and you select on one and you wanted to make a change to it, you could do so. You could save it, and the changes would be saved to the database. Since we're at our max count, and clicking on this would not allow the user to create more questions to their test, since we're already at our max count. They would only be able to create more questions if one of these questions were removed. So let's go ahead and go back here to our flashcards. And as you can see, the test that we've created is here. We long press on it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, there we go. You can see the list where you can take the test, edit the test, delete the test. We've already shown taking the test and showing edit where you create the questions. Let's go into the public flashcards really quick. We'll go to computer science, and you can see the test that we've created is also being displayed here in the public flashcard test area. So if we go back User now has the ability to delete a test that they have previously created. So if we were to delete this test, it'll verify, hey, do you want to delete it? And say, yeah, delete the test. And you can see the test that we just created, it's not there anymore. And if we were to go to the public flashcard test section and we were to go to computer science, that test here has also been removed because we have deleted the test from our side. So since it was our test that we have created, it has also been removed from the public flashcard test section as well. Down here, the user has the logout ability, but before we show that, let's go into the user profile. In order for a user to be able to get access to their user profile, they just click on their profile picture here. So clicking on that will send the user to their public flashcard, or not their public flashcards, excuse me, but their user profile screen. From here, it displays their profile picture, their first, last name, the email that they have associated with their account, as well as the flashcard test that we have created. We only have that one since we, remember, deleted it. Flashcard count is 3. It was 6 because we created that test that had another 3 questions. And we also have the study groups that we have attended. This is increased if a user has left the study group, and that will also that's going to be changed because it doesn't make sense to increase it when they leave. It makes sense to increase it once they join or create that study group. So that's when that incremental value will change, but it would still work the same and still look the same. Down here, you have 2 options of viewing past study groups as well as flashcard tests that you have taken. Down here below, you have the Go Premium feature, which we have shown off. So if we go ahead and we click on past study groups here, this will display that study group that we left and the creator of it, the study group name, the attendee count, as well as the attendees that are still attending that study group. So if you go in, go back, from here, if we click on flashcard test taken, this has been reworked to display the actual flashcard test name, so it makes it a little bit easier for the user to navigate through the flashcard test that they have taken. Next week, I'm going to implement a search bar into this. That's exactly like how it is here in the forums channel. So it allows them to type in a test name and search for a test quicker. So from here, if they wanted to view a test that they've taken, they can do so, and it will display the results to them. So if we go back to our user account, the profile edits has also been reworked. So let's say I didn't want to, we left this blank, right? And the only thing that I wanted to change, say, was my first name. And we'll change it to Chris. Yeah, because I think I have it set to Christopher, right? Yeah. Okay, so we'll just shorten it. So now, before, the user would have to refill out all this information, and that was very redundant if they really only wanted to change one aspect of this. So now when they press this save, it'll save the change of that first name and not require the user to just fill out all the information. It'll save what is filled out, and if anything's left blank, it won't re-overwrite that data with a blank string or number or whatever it is that we're saving there. So that has been reworked just to make the user experience a little bit more seamless and not as annoying as it used to be. So from here, the user has the ability to just log out of their account, which takes them back to the login screen. Now there's one more feature that we have not discussed, and that's the forgot password. So say I wanted to log into my account, but it's been a little bit since I've used Study Group. Well, sometimes, most often or not, people forget their passwords. So in order to change their password, they just click on Forgot Password. From here, it'll ask you to enter in your account email. So if we just enter in the email that's associated with your account and you press send, it'll say email sent. So now if you go over here to your email, let me refresh my email here. Stay on page. Okay, let me drag this over so you can see this. Okay, so if we click on this link here, this will allow us to enter in a new password. So if we wanted to enter in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, let me go ahead and display that so you can see the new password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we press save. It says our password is now changed and we can sign in with our new password. So that means we now have regained access to our account that we were logged out of before. So if we go ahead and enter in our account email, and then if we enter in that password that we just entered through that reset link, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we log in, we now have access back to our account. There has been also one more change really quickly that I would like to address. Before in the password change down here, this would cause issues where Firebase, Google Firebase, when a user changes their password while still logged into their account for security purposes, it logs them out, and it's by default best to, when they reset their password, to just have them log in again to verify that they have re-entered, or that they're entering in the password and they remember what they changed. So for showing you how this works now, with the reworks, we're just going to go ahead and enter in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the password that I had been using, and we'll press save here, and you can see it takes you back to the login screen. And again, that's for security purposes and how Google Firebase is set up. So if we were to enter in our email here and we enter in that new password that we just put in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we log in, we have access to our account again. So again, that log out, it's a security thing, just so there's no like accidental overwrites with other users' data, as well as your account being vulnerable, etc. So that has been the RC build of Study Group, and there's a couple more tweaks that need to be done for the gold build. But all in all, everything is looking great, and it's on track to be launched on the Google Play Store. I hope you all enjoyed this overview of Study Group and its release candidate build. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful day.